The moment you accept Allah's plan is the moment your life begins to change. My beloved brothers and sisters, so much of our pain does not come from what happens to us, but from resisting what Allah has already written. We hold on to what we wanted, we question what we lost, and we struggle against what we cannot control. And in that resistance, the heart becomes heavy. But acceptance is not weakness. It is a form of strength that frees you from inner conflict. When you truly accept that Allah's plan is better than your own, something shifts inside you. You stop fighting reality and you start finding peace within it. Acceptance does not mean you stop trying. It means you trust that whatever happens is part of a greater wisdom that you may not yet understand. Acceptance brings inner peace to the heart. Acceptance brings inner peace to the heart because it ends the constant struggle between what is and what you wish it should be. Many people live in quiet resistance, replaying events, questioning outcomes, and holding tightly to how things were supposed to unfold. This resistance creates a heavy tension inside the chest, a feeling that something is always unsettled. But my beloved brothers and sisters, when you begin to accept what Allah has written, that tension slowly fades. Acceptance is not giving up. It is letting your heart rest in the knowledge that Allah's wisdom is greater than your understanding. When you stop fighting reality, you make space for calmness to enter. And that calmness becomes the beginning of true inner peace. Often the pain you feel is not only from what happened, but from refusing to accept that it happened. You may hold on to questions like, why me? Or what if things were different? And those questions keep your heart trapped in the past. But acceptance gently pulls you back to the present. It reminds you that what has passed is already written and cannot be undone. When you accept this truth, your mind begins to quiet down. You stop searching for answers that may never come and begin trusting that Allah's plan carries wisdom even when it feels difficult to understand. My beloved brothers and sisters, acceptance does not remove effort from your life. You still strive, you still make dua, and you still seek improvement. But your heart no longer carries the burden of needing everything to go exactly your way. You do what you can and you leave the rest to Allah. This balance between effort and surrender is what creates emotional stability. You are no longer shaken by every outcome because your peace is not tied to results, but to your trust in Allah. Overthinking begins to fade when acceptance becomes part of your mindset. Many thoughts are fueled by trying to control situations that are beyond your control. You replay conversations, imagine different outcomes, and question decisions repeatedly. But when you accept that Allah has already written what is best for you, your thoughts begin to settle. You no longer feel the need to analyze everything endlessly. This mental calmness allows your heart to breathe again, free from constant pressure and confusion. Dua becomes more sincere when your heart is in a state of acceptance. Instead of asking with frustration or desperation, you begin asking with trust. You speak to Allah knowing that He understands your situation better than you do. Even if your circumstances do not change immediately, your heart begins to feel lighter. This is because acceptance opens the door to a deeper connection with Allah. You are no longer questioning His decisions. You are placing your trust in His wisdom. Acceptance also protects your emotional well-being. When you constantly resist what has already happened, you carry unnecessary pain. But when you accept it, you begin to release that emotional weight. This does not mean the pain disappears instantly, but it becomes easier to carry. Your heart begins to heal slowly because it is no longer fighting against reality. Instead, it is learning to move forward with patience and trust. Avoiding sins becomes easier when your heart accepts Allah's plan. Frustration and resistance can sometimes push a person toward actions they later regret. But when you accept what Allah has written, you remain calmer and more mindful. You choose patience over anger and trust over doubt. This awareness helps you stay aligned with your faith and keeps your heart in a peaceful state. At the end of it all, acceptance brings inner peace because it aligns your heart with Allah's will. You stop carrying the burden of trying to control everything and begin trusting the one who controls it all. Your struggles may still exist, but your heart becomes steadier. You move through life with a quiet strength, knowing that whatever Allah has written is part of a greater plan. And in that trust, your heart finally finds the peace it has been searching for. Allah's plan is always better than your expectations. Allah's plan is always better than your expectations. Even when it feels like everything is going in the opposite direction of what you wanted. Many times you build a picture in your mind of how your life should unfold, what you should achieve, and what you should receive. You become attached to these expectations so deeply that when reality changes, your heart feels shaken. But my beloved brothers and sisters, your expectations are limited by your knowledge, while Allah's plan is based on complete wisdom. What you see is only a small part of the picture, but Allah sees everything. What is hidden, what is coming, and what is best for you in the long run. When you truly understand this, your heart begins to soften and your trust begins to grow. Often the pain you feel is not because something went wrong, but because it did not go the way you expected. You may have prayed for something, planned for it, and hoped for it with all your heart, only to see it not happen. In those moments, disappointment can feel heavy. But remember, Allah did not deny you without reason. Sometimes what you expected was not meant for you, or it may have carried harm that you could not see. Allah, in His mercy, redirects your path towards something better. This understanding slowly transforms disappointment into trust, because you realize that what you lost may have been protection, not loss. My beloved brothers and sisters, think about moments in your past where something did not go your way, yet later you realized it was for the best. Perhaps a door closed, a relationship ended, or an opportunity slipped away. At that time, it may have felt painful, even confusing. But with time, you saw how that moment led you somewhere better, somewhere you could not have imagined. This is the nature of Allah's plan. It unfolds with wisdom that only becomes clear later. When you reflect on these experiences, your heart begins to trust more deeply that what is happening now also carries hidden goodness. Overthinking often grows when your expectations are not met. You begin questioning everything, wondering what you did wrong or why things did not work out. But when you remind yourself that Allah's plan is better than your expectations, your thoughts begin to settle. You stop blaming yourself for things that were never meant to be. You stop trying to force outcomes that are not written for you. This shift in thinking brings a sense of relief because your heart no longer feels responsible for controlling everything. Dua becomes more meaningful when your expectations are balanced with trust. You still ask Allah for what you desire, but you also trust that He will give you what is best, even if it is different from what you asked for. This mindset changes your relationship with dua. You are no longer attached only to one outcome. Instead, you feel peace, knowing that Allah will respond in the way that benefits you most. This trust removes the fear of disappointment and replaces it with hope. Acceptance becomes easier when you understand that your expectations are not always aligned with what is best for you. You begin to let go of the need to control every detail of your life. You accept that Allah's plan is unfolding perfectly, even if it does not match your vision. This acceptance brings calmness to your heart because you are no longer resisting reality. You are flowing with it, trusting that Allah is guiding you to where you need to be. Avoiding sins becomes easier when your heart is at peace with Allah's plan. When people feel frustrated or disappointed, they may be tempted to take shortcuts or make decisions that are not right. But when you trust that Allah's plan is better, you remain patient and focused. You do not rush toward what is harmful just because it looks appealing in the moment. This awareness helps you stay grounded in your faith and protects your heart from unnecessary regret. At the end of it all, Allah's plan is always better than your expectations because it is designed with perfect knowledge, mercy, and purpose. What you want may seem right, but what Allah chooses is always better for your soul, your growth, and your future. When you trust this deeply, your heart becomes lighter. You stop fearing outcomes and start trusting the journey. And in that trust, you find a peace that no expectation could ever give you, because you are relying on the one who never makes mistakes. Not everything you lose is meant for you. Not everything you lose is meant for you, even though it may feel like a part of you has been taken away. Loss can feel heavy because you become attached to people, plans, or outcomes that you believed were right for your life. When they slip away, your heart begins to question everything. But my beloved brothers and sisters, not every attachment is a sign that something was written for you. Sometimes it is simply a test, a moment that teaches you, shapes you, and then leaves. Allah removes things from your life not to break you, but to guide you. When you begin to understand this, loss starts to feel different. It still hurts, but it no longer destroys your peace completely. Often what you lose is something you once prayed for, something you thought would bring you happiness. You invested your emotions, your hopes, and your energy into it. So when it disappears, it feels confusing. But Allah sees what you do not see. He knows the full reality of what you desired, the hidden consequences, and the future it could have led to. Sometimes what you wanted carried harm that you could not recognize. So Allah, in His mercy, takes it away before it takes more from you. When you trust this, your perspective shifts from why did I lose it to what was Allah protecting me from. My beloved brothers and sisters, attachment can sometimes blind you. You begin to believe that without that person or that opportunity, your life will not be complete. But completeness was never meant to come from creation. It comes from Allah. When something leaves your life, it reminds you that your happiness should not be built entirely on temporary things. Allah redirects your heart back to Him because He knows that only through Him will you find lasting peace. This realization slowly replaces your sadness with a deeper understanding. Overthinking often grows after loss. You replay memories, question your actions, and wonder what you could have done differently. This cycle keeps your heart tied to what has already passed. But when you accept that not everything you lose was meant for you, your thoughts begin to settle. You realize that no amount of thinking could have changed what was written. What left your life was never yours to keep, no matter how much you wanted it. This understanding brings a quiet relief to your mind. Dua becomes more sincere when you go through loss. You turn to Allah with a softer heart, asking for healing, guidance, and strength. In those moments, you begin to feel closer to Him than before. You realize that even though something left your life, Allah remained. He did not leave you. He did not abandon you, and He continues to listen to your pain. This connection becomes a source of comfort that slowly fills the emptiness left behind. Loss also teaches you emotional strength. It shows you that you are capable of continuing even when something important is no longer there. You begin to rebuild yourself, to find peace within, and to rely more on Allah. This growth does not happen overnight, but with time, you start seeing how that loss made you stronger. You become less dependent on things that can leave and more connected to what is constant. Avoiding sins becomes important during times of loss, because pain can push a person toward unhealthy choices. But when you remain patient and trust Allah's plan, you protect your heart from further damage. You choose healing over distraction and faith over frustration. This awareness keeps you grounded and helps you move forward with clarity instead of regret. At the end of it all, not everything you lose is meant for you, because Allah only keeps in your life what is truly good for you. What leaves your life was either a lesson, a protection, or a redirection. When you trust this, your heart begins to accept loss with more peace. You stop holding on to what is gone and start focusing on what Allah has prepared for you ahead. And in that trust, your heart finds the strength to move forward with hope instead of regret. Delays often protect you from harm. Delays often protect you from harm, even when they feel like something is being taken away from you. You may pray for something, work toward it, and expect it to happen at a certain time. But when it does not come, your heart feels confused and restless. You begin to think that you are falling behind or that something is wrong. But my beloved brothers and sisters, not every delay is a denial. Sometimes Allah delays something because He knows that receiving it too early would not benefit you. What feels like waiting may actually be protection from a path that could have harmed your peace, your faith, or your future. Many times you only see the surface of what you desire. You see the opportunity, the relationship, or the outcome, and you believe it will bring you happiness. But Allah sees what is hidden beneath it. He knows what you do not know, and He understands the consequences that may follow. So He delays it, not to hurt you, but to protect you. This protection may not make sense in the moment, but with time, it often becomes clear. What you thought you lost was actually something that could have taken more from you than it gave. My beloved brothers and sisters, impatience often makes delays feel unbearable. You start questioning why things are not happening yet, and you may even feel forgotten. But Allah never forgets you. Every delay is written with purpose. Sometimes Allah is preparing you, strengthening your character, or guiding you away from something that is not right for you. If everything came instantly, you might not grow into the person you need to become. Delays give you time to develop patience, wisdom, and strength. Overthinking becomes stronger when you do not understand delays. You begin to imagine negative outcomes, compare your life to others, and feel like you are being left behind. But when you remind yourself that delays often carry protection, your thoughts begin to calm. You stop assuming the worst and start trusting that something better is being prepared for you. This shift in mindset reduces anxiety and helps you move forward with more peace in your heart. Dua becomes more meaningful during delays. When something is not happening as quickly as you want, you turn to Allah more sincerely. You ask for clarity, for ease, and for what is best for you. In that process, your connection with Allah grows stronger. You begin to feel closer to Him, even if your situation has not changed yet. This closeness brings comfort that helps you endure the waiting with patience and hope. Delays also protect your self-respect. Sometimes, if something came too quickly, you might accept it in a way that compromises your values or dignity. But when Allah delays it, He gives you time to reflect, to set boundaries, and to grow stronger. You become more aware of what truly benefits you and what does not. This awareness helps you make better decisions when the right opportunity finally comes. Avoiding sins becomes important during times of delay because frustration can push a person toward wrong choices. When you feel like things are not moving, you may be tempted to take shortcuts or make decisions out of desperation. But when you trust that Allah's delay is protection, you remain patient. You choose to wait for what is right instead of rushing into what could harm you. This patience preserves your peace and keeps your heart aligned with your faith. At the end of it all, delays often protect you from harm because Allah's timing is always perfect. What you are waiting for is not lost. It is being prepared in the best way for you. When you trust this, your heart begins to feel calmer. You stop seeing delays as obstacles and start seeing them as part of a greater plan. And with that understanding, you continue your journey with patience, knowing that what is meant for you will come at the right time in the right way and with the right blessings, trusting Allah removes emotional burden. Trusting Allah removes emotional burden because it takes away the feeling that everything depends on you. Many people carry a silent weight inside them, worrying about outcomes, fearing the future, and trying to control every detail of their lives. This constant pressure builds slowly until the heart feels overwhelmed. But my beloved brothers and sisters, the moment you truly rely on Allah, something begins to change. You realize that you were never meant to carry everything alone. Allah is in control of what you cannot control, and when your heart accepts this, the heaviness starts to lift. Trust does not remove responsibility, but it removes the burden of needing to control every result. Often emotional burden comes from holding on too tightly to outcomes. You plan something, hope for it, and become deeply attached to how it should happen. When things do not go as expected, your heart feels shaken. But trusting Allah teaches you to release that attachment. You still make your effort, but your heart no longer depends on one specific outcome. This shift brings relief because you stop fearing every possibility. You understand that whatever happens is written with wisdom, even if you cannot fully understand it at the moment. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest causes of emotional exhaustion is trying to carry worries that belong to Allah alone. You think about what might happen, what could go wrong, and how you will manage everything. But Allah has already written your path. He knows what is ahead, and He is already taking care of things you cannot see. When you trust this deeply, your mind begins to rest. You stop overthinking every detail because you realize that not everything needs your control. Overthinking becomes lighter when trust replaces fear. Many thoughts are rooted in uncertainty and the need to predict outcomes. But when your heart trusts Allah, those thoughts begin to lose their intensity. You no longer feel the need to analyze every situation endlessly. Instead, you focus on what you can do in the present and leave the rest to Allah. This balance between effort and trust creates a sense of calm that protects your emotional well-being. Dua becomes more powerful when you are not carrying emotional burden alone. Instead of holding everything inside, you turn to Allah and express what you feel. You speak to Him about your worries, your fears, and your hopes, knowing that He listens with complete understanding. In that moment, your heart begins to feel lighter. Even if your situation does not change immediately, your emotional state changes because you know you are not alone. Trusting Allah also protects your self-respect. When you rely too much on people for solutions or emotional relief, you may feel dependent or weak. But when your reliance is on Allah, you carry yourself differently. You become calmer, more confident, and less desperate for answers from others. This emotional independence strengthens your character and allows you to handle challenges with dignity. Avoiding sins becomes easier when your heart is not overwhelmed. Emotional burden can sometimes push a person toward unhealthy choices just to escape the pressure. But when you trust Allah, your heart becomes more stable. You are less likely to act out of desperation or frustration. Instead, you respond with patience and clarity, keeping your actions aligned with your faith. At the end of it all, trusting Allah removes emotional burden because it shifts your heart from control to surrender. You continue to make your effort, but you no longer carry the weight of outcomes on your shoulders. You understand that Allah is managing what you cannot see, and that understanding brings peace. Your heart becomes lighter, your mind becomes calmer, and your life begins to feel more balanced. And in that trust, you find a strength that allows you to move forward without being overwhelmed by what lies ahead. Letting go opens the door for better things. Letting go opens the door for better things because holding on to what was never meant for you blocks what Allah is preparing ahead. Many people remain attached to things that have already ended, whether it is a person, an opportunity, or a version of life they once imagined. They keep revisiting the past, hoping it will somehow return or make sense. But my beloved brothers and sisters, when Allah removes something from your life, it is not always a loss. Sometimes it is a redirection. When you hold on too tightly, you close your heart to new possibilities. But when you release what is gone, you create space for something better to enter, something that aligns more closely with what Allah has written for you. Letting go is not about forgetting or pretending the pain did not exist. It is about accepting that what has passed is no longer part of your path. Many times, the difficulty lies not in the loss itself, but in resisting it. You replay moments, question outcomes, and carry the emotional weight of what cannot be changed. This resistance keeps your heart stuck in the past. But when you choose to let go, you begin to move forward. Your heart slowly shifts from attachment to acceptance. And that shift brings a sense of relief that cannot be achieved through holding on. My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes you do not realize how much something was affecting your peace until it is no longer in your life. Certain relationships, habits, or expectations may seem important at the time, but they may also be draining your energy and disturbing your calmness. When Allah removes them, it may feel painful at first, but it often leads to a quieter, more stable heart. Letting go allows you to see things more clearly. It reveals what was benefiting you and what was harming you, even if you could not recognize it before. Overthinking often fades when you let go of what is no longer in your control. When you keep holding on, your mind continues searching for answers, replaying situations, and trying to understand what could have been done differently. This cycle keeps your thoughts heavy and restless. But letting go breaks that cycle. It allows your mind to settle because you are no longer trying to fix what has already passed. You begin to focus on the present, and that focus brings clarity and peace. Dua becomes more sincere when you let go with trust. Instead of asking Allah to return what you lost, you begin asking Him to guide you toward what is better. You place your trust in His wisdom, believing that what He has removed is part of a greater plan. This shift in your dua changes your heart. You no longer feel desperate for what is gone. Instead, you feel hopeful for what is ahead. This hope brings comfort and strengthens your connection with Allah. Letting go also protects your dignity. When you hold on too tightly, you may find yourself chasing what is no longer meant for you, trying to force situations or seek explanations that will not bring peace. But when you release it, you take your power back. You choose to walk away with self-respect, trusting that Allah will replace what is lost with something better. This decision reflects strength because you are not allowing your emotions to control your actions. Avoiding sins becomes easier when you let go with patience. Sometimes holding on to pain can lead to frustration, anger, or actions that you later regret. But when you release that pain and trust Allah, your heart becomes calmer. You respond with patience instead of impulse. This calmness helps you stay aligned with your faith and keeps your actions rooted in what is right. At the end of it all, letting go opens the door for better things because it aligns your heart with Allah's plan. You stop clinging to what was not written for you and begin trusting what is ahead. Your heart becomes lighter, your thoughts become clearer, and your path becomes easier to walk. What Allah has prepared for you cannot enter a heart that is still holding on to what has already passed. So when you let go with trust, you are not losing anything. You are making room for something better, something more peaceful, and something that will bring true contentment into your life. Contentment comes from trust, not control. Contentment comes from trust, not control. Because the more you try to control everything in your life, the more restless your heart becomes. Many people believe that peace will come when everything goes according to their plan, when every outcome is predictable, and when nothing feels uncertain. But my beloved brothers and sisters, life was never designed to be fully controlled by you. There will always be moments of uncertainty, change, and unexpected outcomes. When you try to control what is beyond your ability, you only increase your anxiety. But when your heart learns to trust Allah, you begin to feel a different kind of peace. A peace that does not depend on perfect circumstances, but on complete reliance on the one who controls everything. Trying to control everything often comes from fear. You fear losing something, missing out, or facing pain. So you try to manage every detail. You plan carefully, think constantly, and worry about outcomes before they even happen. But this constant effort to control life only creates emotional exhaustion. Allah already knows what is best for you, and He is already managing what you cannot see. When you truly accept this, your heart begins to relax. You stop carrying the burden of needing everything to go your way and start trusting that whatever happens is part of a greater wisdom. My beloved brothers and sisters, trusting Allah does not mean you stop making effort. Islam teaches you to strive, to plan, and to do your best. But after that effort, your heart should not remain attached to controlling the results. This is where true contentment begins. You act with sincerity, but you surrender the outcome to Allah. This balance protects your heart from disappointment because your peace is not tied to whether things go exactly as you hoped. Overthinking becomes less intense when you shift from control to trust. Many thoughts are fueled by trying to predict every possibility and avoid every mistake. You replay scenarios in your mind, trying to prepare for everything. But when your heart trusts Allah, you realize that you do not need to know every outcome in advance. Allah is guiding your path step by step. This understanding calms your thoughts and reduces the mental pressure you carry every day. Dua becomes more powerful when it is rooted in trust rather than control. Instead of asking Allah only for specific outcomes, you begin asking Him for what is best. You open your heart and accept that His answer may be different from your expectation, but it will always be better for you. This mindset transforms your relationship with dua. You no longer feel disappointed when things do not go exactly as you asked, because you trust that Allah has chosen something more beneficial for you. Contentment also grows when you release the need to control how others behave. Many people feel restless because they try to manage people's opinions, actions, and reactions. But human behavior is unpredictable. You cannot control how others think or act. When you accept this and trust Allah instead, your heart becomes calmer. You focus on your own actions and leave others to Allah. This shift protects your peace and reduces unnecessary emotional stress. Avoiding sins becomes easier when your heart is not driven by the need to control everything. Sometimes people take wrong paths out of desperation to force outcomes or avoid discomfort. But when you trust Allah, you become patient. You do not rush into decisions that may harm you. You understand that what is written for you will reach you without needing to compromise your values. This awareness keeps your heart stable and your actions aligned with your faith. At the end of it all, contentment comes from trust, not control, because true peace is not found in managing every detail of your life. It is found in surrendering your heart to Allah. When you trust Him fully, you stop fearing uncertainty and start embracing the journey. Your heart becomes lighter because it no longer carries the burden of control. You move forward with calmness, knowing that Allah is guiding you in the best way possible. And in that trust, you finally discover a deep and lasting contentment that no level of control could ever give you. My dear brothers and sisters, rising in life does not always mean gaining more. Sometimes it means letting go of what was never meant for you. The moment you accept Allah's plan, you stop carrying the weight of why and begin to walk with the strength of trust. You realize that what passed you was not written for you, and what is written for you will never miss you. When your heart finds contentment in Allah's decision, your struggles become lighter and your path becomes clearer. Continue to make your effort, continue to make dua, but leave the outcome to the one who knows what is best for you. Because true peace is not in controlling life, but in trusting the one who controls it.